Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Friday, April 29th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to leave a comment down below with what your baseball picks are for Friday. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at pickdawgz.com in the Premium Picks tab. I'm going to be running a daily $15 MLB best bet, so check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Friday, April 29th. First up, we have the San Diego Padres taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates with Yu Darvish and Zach Thompson as the projected starters. Now, Zach Thompson was a guy that I was pretty optimistic about going into the season, but he just has not delivered in a Pirates uniform thus far. A 10.8 ERA this season with a 2.70 whip. He's allowed at least one home run in all three of his starts this year. The walks have been an issue as well, allowing 7 walks in his first 10 innings of work. Strikeouts have been there. He has 9 Ks in 10 innings, but giving up far too many base runners and earned runs this season. He was actually the starting pitcher in that 21-0 blowout to the Cubs last week on April 23rd. So really, he's just not a guy that I can back in this spot, especially going up against a Padres lineup that's red hot, scoring tons of runs, and against Yu Darvish, who's pitching a lot better since that Giants start in San Francisco. I think he's probably in his best form right now, and coming off a shutout performance against the Dodgers where he tossed 6 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts against arguably the best lineup in baseball. So I like the Padres here on the road, laying the money line price. Next up, we have the Seattle Mariners taking on the Miami Marlins. We're going to see Matt Brash and Elieser Hernandez as your projected starters. Now, both of these guys have some issues to worry about in this one. I'm not too confident in either starter in this matchup. Matt Brash, the issue has been the walks. You know, he's got a very good fastball velocity. His spin rate's been perfect this year, one of the best in the league. But he's allowed 11 walks in 15 innings of work, and that's never going to get it done. In fact, he's allowed 10 walks in his last 9 2/3 innings, including 4 last time out against the Royals. Now, the bats have been able to support him for the most part. Last game, a 13-7 win against the Astros. It was a 7-2 win, even though he gave up 6 walks in that one. But the Marlins, to me, are the type of team that they'll take advantage of a starting pitcher that struggles to find the zone. And Elieser Hernandez on the other side, his issue has been the long ball. He's given up too many home runs this season, already 6 to start the year. But he has faced 3 really tough lineups in the Angels, Phillies, and Braves. Now, the Mariners have hit the ball well this year, but I still think those 3 teams are a little bit stronger lineup-wise than Seattle. And you know what? I think we're getting such a good price with the Marlins, who have been a solid team above 500 this year. I can't pass it up. I'm going to take the Marlins with the plus money on the money line here. Next up, we see the Boston Red Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. We're going to see Rich Hill and Spencer Watkins as the projected starters as of now. Now, Spencer Watkins, on paper, 2.77 ERA, not bad at all, really solid. But when you look at the advanced analytics, I do get a little bit worried as he's not missing many bats, only 3.46 strikeouts per 9. The walks have been an issue. He's actually allowed more walks than earned strikeouts, 4.85 walks per 9. The home runs have also been a little bit of an issue, 1.38 homers per 9. And that's why he has an expected ERA of 5.26 and a FIP of 5.92. But on the other side, I really can't trust Rich Hill either, as although he pitched well against the Rays in his last start, he still has that 4.85 ERA. He's had issues missing bats and putting guys on base via the walk and base hit. And I do think the Orioles lineup's going to be able to get to him early in this spot as well. So I like the over in the first 5 innings of this contest. I think both lineups can get ready to go in the early parts of this one. So give me the over in the first 5. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Kansas City Royals. We're going to see Nestor Cortes taking on Kris Bubic in this one. Now, Nestor Cortes, what more can be said about him? He's off to a fantastic start this year. Hasn't had a win or a loss, no decisions in all 3 of his first 3 starts, but a 1.15 ERA. And back in the first 3 starts, the Yankees lineup really wasn't hitting well, and they weren't giving their starting pitcher any kind of support. But now, the way the Yankees lineup is looking, I do like the Bombers in this series and in this spot against the Royals. You look at Kansas City right now, ranked 29th in team OPS against left-handed pitching, and that's not going to bode well against Cortes, who is a lefty. On the other side, Kris Bubic has an ERA in the 14s right now, a 14.14 ERA. And unlucky for him, the Yankees are right now top 10 in the league in team OPS against left-handed pitching, and that's numbers for the entire season. Even in the beginning of the year when the Yankees weren't hitting, now they're scoring runs all over the place. They did it against the Orioles, they did it against the Guardians, and I think they're going to do it against the Royals on Friday night. So give me the Yankees on the run line on the road. In our next game, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Toronto Blue Jays with Jose Urquidy and Yusei Kikuchi on the mound for this one. This will be the second series that these two teams have played in the month of April. Now, with Yusei Kikuchi on the mound, the Blue Jays are the favorites here because they are at home. But Yusei Kikuchi, in all three of his starts this year, the Blue Jays have not been able to win his games. He only has one loss on his record this season, but he struggled this year. And for the most part, last start against these Astros, he allowed 4 total runs. Only 2 of them were earned, but he gave up a home run and 5 walks in only 3 2/3 innings of work. And in recent seasons, the Astros have had pretty good luck against Kikuchi. I think they put up some runs early in this game. And on the other side, I don't really want to take the Astros. I haven't really been impressed with them overall, and I haven't been impressed with Jose Urquidy as well. With that 5.52 ERA, only 7 strikeouts in 14 2/3 innings. The Blue Jays have such a dominant lineup against right-handed pitching. I think they're going to get to Urquidy in this one as well. And Toronto's been a pretty hitter-friendly ballpark for the most part this season, and I think we're going to see plenty of runs in this one as well. So give me the over in the Astros-Blue Jays Game 1 of this series. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Chicago White Sox. This should be a pretty fun series, and in this game, we're going to see 2 strong starting pitchers with Noah Syndergaard and Lucas Giolito, both guys with ERAs below 3 this season. Syndergaard 2-0 with a 2.12 ERA. Now, the strikeouts haven't been there yet this year. I'm not necessarily worried about that because we've seen Syndergaard be a strikeout guy before. He also has really good pitch-to-contact stuff as well, though. He's able to get those ground ball outs and double play outs, and he's done a really good job at limiting base runners this season. A .82 whip this year, and he hasn't given up a single home run. He's kept the ball on the ground for the most part. And the White Sox lineup has just really struggled against right-handed pitching. They're right now ranked 29th in baseball in team OPS against right-handers. And for me, that's just enough for me not to want to lay a price with them at home, even though they're at home. The Angels are just playing such good baseball right now on both sides of the ball. The bullpen has been delivering, the starting pitchers have been going pretty deep, and the lineup has been doing a lot of damage. Lucas Giolito on the other side has pitched well, but he's had very limited work this season. He had a little bit of an injury, so he's only had 8 innings this season. And I do think the Angels lineup is just right now in a much better spot than the White Sox. And to me, giving me plus money with the Halos right now is a pretty good idea. So I'll take the Angels on the money line, getting the plus money. In our next game, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the Tampa Bay Rays with Dylan Bundy and Corey Kluber as the probable starters. Now, this is a pretty tough game for me because I do think both teams have a lot of value on them in a lot of games this year already. The Rays are a small market club, so you're going to just naturally be able to find good spots of value, especially when they play those Red Sox and Yankees, those big market teams. On the other side, though, the Twins, they struggled so badly in 2021 that going into the season, a lot of people kind of turned their back on them, and now they're 3 games above 500. They're on an absolute tear right now, and for that reason, I just have to take the plus money with them in this spot. Dylan Bundy's been fantastic, a 3-0 record with a .59 ERA, and the Twins lineup has been getting it done with Buxton and without him. So give me the Twins on the money line here. Just taking the plus money is just something I have to do in this spot. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the New York Mets. This is always a fun series to watch, and we have a pretty good pitchers matchup here as we have Aaron Nola and Tyler McGill on the mound. Now, Tyler McGill, a big reason why the Mets have such a nice record to start the season. He's 3-0 with a 2.35 ERA. Strikeouts have been there. He's limited walks. He has a .91 whip. He has been everything the Mets could have dreamed of this season when they put him in as the opening day starter with DeGrom going out with the injury. And on the other side, Aaron Nola, he started out a little bit slow, but he's now got a 3.74 ERA. And for Nola, it's really been about limiting the one bad inning. It seems like he starts off strong and then he has a little bit of a rough inning here or there, and it kind of just ruins his entire outing. But last time out, 7 innings of shutout baseball, only 1 hit allowed with 9 strikeouts against the Brewers. And a pretty interesting fact between these two pitchers, neither of them have allowed a single run in the first inning of any of their starts this season. I think you know where I'm headed in this one. I'm going to take the Nerfy no-run first inning in the Phillies-Mets contest right here. In our next game, we see the Atlanta Braves taking on the Texas Rangers with Ian Anderson and Spencer Howard as your probable starters. Now, if you guys have watched the show since the beginning, you know I'm not really crazy about either of these starting pitchers, so that's why I really have a tough time with this game in particular. You know, Ian Anderson, a 5.4 ERA. I've mentioned before, he gets behind in the count far too often for me to feel comfortable with him on the mound. Last time out, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them were earned, a home run and 3 walks to the Marlins, and a 9-7 Braves loss. And in Spencer Howard's last outing, he struggled against the Oakland Athletics, where he gave up a 2-run home run in that one, and only 2 innings of work, and that's why he has a 14.4 ERA. He also got shelled in his first outing of the season, giving up 6 runs and 4 home runs in only 3 innings against the Blue Jays. Neither starter has impressed me, but then if you got to look at the lineups and the bullpen, I think the Braves have the clear advantage there. The lineup is a lot better against right-handed pitching. The Rangers have really struggled against righties this year, and the Braves bullpen is a lot stronger. I think the Rangers have the weakest bullpen in baseball. So for that reason, I'll take a lean on the Braves on the road here, but not a ton of value to go around in this one. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers with Kyle Hendricks and Adrian Hauser as your starters. Now, Adrian Hauser is a guy that hasn't really missed a lot of bats this season. Only 10 strikeouts and 15 in the third innings. And he's also allowed 7 walks in those innings also. And I don't really love him in this spot against the Cubs. While on the other side, Kyle Hendricks, you know, although his ERA is a little high at 3.98, the strikeout numbers for him have gone way up this year. Kind of surprising. 19 Ks in 20 innings. He's more of a pitch-to-contact guy, but he's been able to miss more bats this season. You know, he's limited the home runs to only 1 this year. He only gave up 1 home run in his first 20 innings of work, which is impressive. And I think the Cubs can keep this game close, at least within a 1 run. So I'll take a shot with the Cubs on the run line here. Next up, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the St. Louis Cardinals with Madison Bumgarner and Adam Wainwright, 2 guys that have been around the block going at it in this one. Now, Madison Bumgarner, 0-1, but he has a 1.00 ERA this season, but I'm not sure how sustainable that is, as Bumgarner really in his later days in his career hasn't been able to miss a lot of bats. You know, this season only 13 strikeouts in 18 innings. And he's had issues with the walk as well. He's allowed 10 walks in those 18 innings, which, you know, you'd like to see that number shrink a bit. Against this Cardinals lineup that leads the major leagues in team OPS against left-handed pitching, I do think Bumgarner's ERA is going to go up quite a bit in this one. And the other side, Adam Wainwright, although he struggled last time out, I still think he is the better option in starting pitching right now. And the Diamondbacks have struggled so much against right-handers and left-handers, just offensively in general, they've struggled. So I just don't see him competing in this one for too long. So give me the Cardinals on the run line. I'll try to get some value back by laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Colorado Rockies with Hunter Greene and Antonio Senzatella as the projected starters. Now, the Reds' offense, to me, woke up a little bit in this most recent series against the Padres. The pitching staff was really struggling, and that's why they lost all 3 games. But the offense scored at least 5 runs in all 3 of those games, and I think they're starting to figure things out a bit. And now you're going up against Antonio Senzatella, a guy who has a 2.03 whip this year. He's given up 26 base hits in 13 innings of work, and he's coming off a start in which he gave up 10 hits in only 5 innings of work with 5 earned runs and a home run to the Tigers. It was a 13-0 Tigers win there. You know, the Reds offense behind Hunter Greene, who can get some strikeouts on the board. He misses bats for the most part. He has issues with the walks here and there, but I think Greene is the better starter here. I think the Reds offense could have a little bit of a breakout performance in this series. So give me the Reds on the money line here. I think we're just getting a good price with Cincinnati. Next up, we have the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Oakland Athletics. We're going to see Aaron Savale and Frankie Montas as your projected starters. Now, there's no doubt that the A's have the advantage in the starting pitching matchup with Montas on the mound. Savale has struggled at times. He's been able to rack up some strikeouts, but the hits and home runs and walks have kind of been an issue for him with that 9.58 ERA. But on the other side, the Oakland Athletics offense really hasn't impressed me recently. And that's why I'm really tempted to take the plus money with the Guardians on the road. We know Cleveland's really looking to break that losing streak. They were able to sweep the White Sox at home, and then they got swept by the Yankees and the Angels, I should say, and a 7-game losing streak now going into this series. But the Guardians are still third in the league in team OPS against right-handed pitching, which Frankie Montas is a righty. Jose Ramirez is doing a lot of bad things to starting pitchers and really pitchers in general this season, hitting .347 with 6 homers and 25 RBIs. The lineup for Cleveland, I think, is better than Oakland. I think the bullpen's a lot better also. So if this game is close late, I like the Guardians' chances to win it late. And that's why I got to take them on the plus money on the money line price here. So give me Cleveland money line here. Next up, we see the Detroit Tigers taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers with two Tyler A's going at it. Tyler Alexander for the Tigers and Tyler Anderson for the Dodgers. Now, I do think there's a little bit of value on the Tigers here on the road. I wouldn't take them on the money line, but I do think taking them at the plus 1.5 on the run line makes some sense. When you look at Tyler Alexander, I wouldn't be fooled by that 7.2 ERA, as I think he's pitching a lot better than that ERA may suggest. He has a 3.68 FIP this season, and the Dodgers have not really done a good job against left-handed pitching this season. They're ranked inside the top 5 in team OPS against righties, but against lefties, it's been a different story. They're actually right now ranked 21st in baseball in team OPS against lefties. And on the other side, Tyler Anderson, the starter for the Dodgers, to me, he's pitched well this year, but I don't see him as a minus 240 favorite. Last year he struggled quite a bit, and in his last start he gave up a home run, 3 walks, 2 earned runs, and only 4 2/3 innings against the Padres. I think the Tigers lineup, which has been a lot better against lefties than the Dodgers has, can get to Tyler Anderson here, and I think they can put up enough in the early innings of this one to keep it close and have a shot to win it outright. But I'll just take them on the run line, getting the 1.5 runs in case this is a 1-run Dodger win. Next up, we have our final game of the night as the Washington Nationals take on the San Francisco Giants with Aaron Sanchez and Alex Wood on the mound. Now, to me, this is Giants run line or pass altogether, as the Giants have just been dominant against the Nationals this year. 7-1, 5-2, and 12-3 with the final scores that the Giants won all 3 at Nationals Park. And now they're taking on Aaron Sanchez, who struggled quite a bit in his first outing in 2022. He wasn't a guy I was very high on going into the season, and he gave up 6 hits, 4 1/3 innings. He only had 1 strikeout, and now he has an 8.31 ERA after those 4 earned runs against these Giants on April 23rd. Alex Wood has pitched well this year, 2-0 with a 2.51 ERA, 16 strikeouts in 14 1/3 innings, only 4 walks allowed. The home runs I'd like to see shrink a little bit, but the Nationals lineup has not been good against righties or lefties, but certainly lefties where they're ranked outside the top 20. And I got to take the Giants on the run line here at home. They're just playing way better baseball. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday, April 29th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to leave your picks down in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.